Oh, hey you guys, it's your girl Jasmine. Um, so this video is a little different tonight. It's in response to a video I just watched, a live, from the YouTuber known as My Jazzy Life or Jazzy Life. She's the adult person with 4 children, so on and so forth, and a little puppy. What do you call it? A Yorkshire or whatever you call that dog. Anyway, I just had this. I wanted to say a couple things that was on my mind while they were on my mind because I've been wanting to do a reaction video on her for a while, but it's hard for me to get into this. This is all new to me. I've never really done this stuff, but I do have one person that I've been staying on her neck, which is Ray Smith. So feel free to watch those videos. Um, But what I observed from tonight's live on from Jazzy Life, okay, she has a set of twins that just turned 3 years old. She's been advised and what's the word I want to say, encouraged to find some speech therapy for her children, for her twins. Now, if you didn't want to go, if as a parent you didn't want to go that route, what you could do is look up some, videos on YouTube. I'm sure that there's something on here, or do some research where you could teach your own children. It's very important to read to them, every night, if not twice a day, because I believe she has the twins all day. So they should have a little routine for learning where she makes them sit down and have to learn a lesson of some sort. Whether it's a word, a sound, um, a lot of it has to do with phonetics, uh, I don't know who's old enough to remember Hooked on Phonics, but that was an excellent program that they used to advertise on the commercials that helped children sound out the words and so on and so forth. I hate that it went away. But I'm sure they have another version of it somewhere somehow. So anyway, I was in her live and I was the person that kept saying speech therapy, speech therapy, speech therapy. And she was attempting to try, and I think there was a couple of other so-called trolls, that's what you want to call it, that were in there saying little stuff. Little remarks about the children. One young lady said that her 1-year old learned knew their body parts, and it did seem like a struggle with Ava. Um, so with that being said, I just hope and pray because at the end of the day, first and foremost, um, I, I, being a parent, in particular a mother, is a ministry. It's an assignment from God that, you know, you really should take it with pride because you are molding and shaping little human beings. Um, and I understand she has a childhood past that is probably, I would imagine, um, she mentioned being molested. Don't know whether to believe that or not, but you can tell that she was raised the same way that she's behaving because that's usually how it works. Um, and the whole, I don't know, I'm gonna stay on the educational part. I'm not gonna really get into the man and all that stuff. At the end of the day, I just feel like she wanted this family. She wanted to have these children thinking that Philip would be there, but at the same time knowing that Philip is not stable. He's had kids on her. I don't know how much education he has. He never put a ring on it. And she wants to continue to um present herself on YouTube as a loving, caring, happy family. Um I was just I I have a friend who started having children at the age of 12, and she has some issues that she been molested as well. She she has 7 children now. Um 3 by her husband and the other 4 by all different fathers. There's a set of twins in there. Anyway, so yeah, the education part. She was I just don't understand why she can't take that seriously. And I also put in there, and it's not the way I wanted to say it, but because she won't listen and she gets offended by everything, I want to say it the way I'm going to say it the way I really want to say it, because I said in the comment section, get control of your son before he ends up in prison. And then I said at the very end, I was one of the last people chatting. I said 3 future baby mamas and 1 prison bae. That's not nice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Oh Jesus, it's not funny at all. It's not funny. But my brain comes up with the craziest things. Anyway, I you know I don't know. I don't know what people want for their children, you know. I have an adult daughter. She couldn't go to and college is not for everybody. I think personally, I think it is somewhat of a scam, depending on what you are going for. But I have a very grown daughter, and she did not go to college because at the time they were factoring in my income. Um, which, oh, you know what? We live in the way the county is set up. A portion of the county that lived in the city got to go to college free, and the part where I live is kind of suburban. It's on the outskirts, so they couldn't go for free. So they were factoring my finances in, which I was making almost $90,000 a year. And I told her to use her father's, or try to use her father's, and we tried this and tried that, and just wasn't working out. So she did a semester where she took out some loans, and I'm like, I don't want you to take out a bunch of loans if you're not sure exactly what you want to do. So right now she's been working at the same. And one thing I can say, she's not in a position where I would like for her to be right now. Yet she's not. She's 24. But she is so determined and so headstrong. And I'm so very proud of her. Um, she has no children. Thanks to me. Thanks to me. Okay, I was a teenage mother, but I was 100% sure she was not gonna be popping out no babies. Um, so now I would love for her to settle down and get married and have some kids. Um, but at one point, the job that she was working at, she's had 3 cars. She crashed the first 2. I think she might be on her 4th car already. But she was without a car for a period of time, and she was traveling back and forth like 40 minutes to go to this particular job that she really wanted. She was catching rides, borrowing cars to get this position, and she did that for months. And I was just like, girl, I just couldn't even fathom. I'm like, you is really going in for this job. And it's a good job. I don't want her doing it forever, but it's a good job. And she really likes it, and she's been there for a few years. Um and she's super smart because this job entails some math skills, and she was trying to teach me to tell me something. And I hate math, and I hate to say I hate math because you know, what you hate, you fear, and you fear what you hate, and this and that. So, but anyway, it was so funny because I'm like, girl, I can't even comprehend what you're trying to tell me. So don't even try. But anyway, so I said that to say because I feel like I instilled in her values, the values of a work ethic, and being just a work ethic, being a good person. Um Church, of course, God, that's number 1. She sung in the choir. She led the choir songs. She's a singer, but she hadn't pursued it. She stopped really pursuing it. And I'm not saying everybody, I know everybody doesn't go to church. But I think that it's good to at least send your kids with somebody if you're not gonna go. Even if you're not a practicing whatever. Um, I think that foundation is super duper important, but that's just my opinion. So I said that to say, and so no kids yet. Good job. She has a vehicle. And I'm a single mom, and I'm proud that I raised her, like I did. Um, Super smart. I read to her, by the time and every child, don't get me wrong, every child is not at the same level of other children. A lot of it came natural. I can't take all the credit because by the time she was in like, I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade, she was reading at a really high level. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was really high. High enough to want to consider bumping her up a grade. I said that to say that in spite of your children's disabilities, you should not use that as a crutch. Okay? Last for example, and this will be the end of this. My son was having trouble getting some words out. Now my brother, I grew up with my brother, my younger brother, stuttering really, really bad to the point where he'd have to lift his leg up to get the words out, like really bad. Um, and they end up putting him in special ed, which stuttering doesn't have nothing to do with your brain. I mean, it does, but not with your learning, I don't think. But my mother did the best she could. She did the best she could. She was younger. And a lot of times you just take what the teachers tell you. So, anyway, I said that to say, so my son, he had just a tad bit of an issue getting some words out, and he was like, So anyway, my mom tried to. Now this is how the devil works. She attempted to allow him to use that as a crutch, and I got so pissed off. And I said, lady, if you don't stop telling him that he can't do this or that because he stutters, I want this. I was so irritated with her. Um, and I told him, I said, don't you dare tell me what you can't do because you stutter. You take your time and you get it out. And it wasn't like my brother stuttering. So if that was the case, I wouldn't have been that, abrupt with him. It was just a little tiny, whatever. And I think part of it was nervousness. And one time we got into it because I wanted him to order his pizza. He's 12, about to be 12, so he was like 10. And he didn't want to order the pizza. He said, I stutter, I stutter. Now, talking to me just as plain as day. Talking any other time, he talking, talking, talking. And, until he gets to, every now and then there would be that little hesitation. So my mom, he stutters, he can't call. Ugh, just an enabler. And so I'm saying that to say, if in which, being that the children were born slightly premature and they may have learning disabilities, as a mother, you should want and need to attempt to do everything you can to correct it before it gets too far gone. They are at an age now where, like, somebody was saying how they caught their child's autism, pretty early. They noticed that they weren't making eye contact, and, the other little things that they do, that you notice or whatever. So this mother, it was somebody famous, I want to say. I can't think of who it was, but she caught it and she addressed it. So now they're high functioning. And I just think it's just sad, sad, um, a sad case that, because I, if I felt my children had a disability, I would be in there digging with my heels so hard. Just repetition. Repetition is something that you just cannot go wrong with. You just keep repeating, repeat, repeat, repeat. Man, it's so many things she could do for these kids. And for Ava and Kaylin, they, I love her. That little boy, I just, I don't, I hate to say it, but I don't really like him. but, but the two oldest ones, because I can't stand that whining when he can't talk. That really bothers me. And I know if I was his mother, I would figure out a way to get him to communicate. But since she can't do it, it like does something to me. I don't like him. And I just can't, like, I don't like him because of her. I don't know how that sound, but take it how you want to take it. Because when he do all that whining, I can't stand it. But the two oldest ones, being that they have to watch their mother bring a man into that home that they didn't even probably know for a few months, weeks, whatever, you know. And then there'll be others because she's the type of person that she cannot be alone, and it's obvious. So that dependency on a man that starts early. The little girl's gonna see that. They know their father's in prison, and that's gonna be, something they have to factor in as well with their ideals of a man in relationships. And the fact that he won't marry her, you know. And I know marriage is not for everybody. Everybody not doing it for religious purposes and things of that nature. And then people like her, she will settle just to have the man. She could want marriage all day long, and that could have been her dream growing up. Because otherwise, why would she propose to Philip? Why would she buy him a ring? She wants to be married, but she will settle just to have a man around. And that is sad. That is really sad. And for the little girls to see that, um, it's just unfortunate. I mean, no parent is perfect. Nobody's saying anything about being perfect. I 100% have my issues and my faults. I tried to bring a few guys around that I call myself dating. And my mom, once she would find out I was dating somebody, for the most part, she would nip it in the bud. And I'm all of 25 years, 20 something years old. I was going to see a guy. I was dating a guy, and I was dragging my daughter along and trying to spend the night and, all that trifling shit. And my mother was like, girl, if you don't bring my baby home and don't be taking her or go see no nigga, um, a lot of people may feel like that wasn't her place, but ultimately, when I was alone by myself because of how I was raised, especially being raised in a church, you know what's right and you know what's wrong, so that thing messes with you. And when you sit down there and you reflect, you be like, oh shit, damn. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have did that. Now the one guy that she approved of, and this is another thing, um, the guy that she did like, she did not mind me bringing him around because he had a job. Did he have his own place? I don't remember if he had his own place, but he had a job. He lived somewhere. Damn it, I don't remember. Did he even have a car? I think he had. Yeah, he had a car. And he was a good dude. He was a good dude. It don't sound like it from what I described, but I remember my mother telling him if you was 10 years younger, I would have snatched you up. And I didn't like him because he was really nice. He was so nice to me that I did not want the nice guy. And my mother, I know she was praying that I would marry that man. Um, and eventually we broke up, and eventually, not long after that, he passed away. He died of a heart attack. But I say that to say that being that my mom knows me better than anybody, and she could see people's intentions. He was a really good guy, and she saw his intention. And a lot of times when we choose our mate, we see what we want to see. So, hell, that's why I say we need to go back to the parents picking and choosing, but that's another topic for another day. So, um, And the fact that Jazz's mother, you know, she doesn't appear to be super involved, like she is living her own life, which she is entitled to. She raised her children. Um, I'm not saying anything bad about that. Um, Jazz is who she is because of her mother and because of her own personal choices, because she didn't have to make the choices that she did. But I just also feel like, aside from aside from certain things, I just knew I didn't want to be a baby popper. Immediately after I had my daughter at 17, I got on birth control, and I was on birth control for years. Um, and I dated a guy that I would have married had he not had a whole nother girlfriend. But I think that you have to take into consideration the fact that this guy Chris, he has other children, and it's like, where do they fit in at? Shouldn't the kids come first? I mean, unless you're in a marriage. The marriage is the husband and the wife together, and then the children. Period. But anyway, I drifted off, but back to the twins and their learning disability. I guess some people say she's doing it for a check, and I just hate to see parents that don't want their kids to thrive. You know what I mean? Billie Jean. I hate that. Um, because and it's interesting. It's funny too because I told my daughter when she was in high school, and she had did poorly. In one of her classes, she got a really low grade, and I said to her, "Girl, if you don't get in that class and sit up at the front of that desk and ask questions and stay after school for tutoring, I'm gonna whoop your ass. You gonna be on punishment." And if she didn't bring up them grades, baby, them grades was up the next semester. I said, "Don't play with me. This girl smart as hell. Trying to teach me freaking how to play what's that game at the casino called? Damn, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Baccarat or some shit. Some game she was learning that she was trying to teach me with numbers and shit. I said, "Girl, you don't get out of my face with that." And my son too. I told him. I said, if by the end of this semester that grade ain't what it's supposed to be, I said, you gonna be on punishment the whole summer. Not just because of that. Well, what was I talking to him about? Something. Oh, I think I told him if he failed a grade, I would put him on. Yeah, if he felt like a whole, grade, like he's in sixth grade. If he failed sixth grade, then he would be on punishment for the whole summer. And I wasn't playing because I put my daughter on punishment for a whole summer, honey, when she was like 14 or 15. So, um, and before it gets out of hand, like with my son, like we're doing the homeschool thing now and stuff, and that's coming along okay, but you just can't be there every time that they're working, so you can't sit up under them when they're working and stuff, and then they have tests on the computer that you can't go back and check. So it's like Do you know the shit or don't you? Because if you don't know it, you better ask questions. That's all I'm saying. Because if you sit there like a dummy and you act like you don't want to ask a question, then you're going to get your ass whipped or you're going to be in this house. No game, no nothing. See, I'm a teenage mother, but I do not play those games. I'm a young mom. Well, I ain't young no more because my son is 12, but oh shit, my knee. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I'll be back with something else. Peace out.